Backstage Knitting Podcast. Backstage Knitting Podcast. Backstage Knitting Podcast. Backstage Knitting Podcast. Grab your knitting and a cup of tea. Beth and Anna, what more could you need? It's the Backstage Knitting Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Backstage Knitting Podcast. I'm Bethany and today is Monday, September 24th, I think. Not really sure. I didn't write it down because I wrote my show notes like a week ago. So that's where I'm at. Thank you so much to any new listeners or viewers for checking me out. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. And I also want to thank all of my returning listeners and viewers. I appreciate you sticking around and making it to episode 45. So that's super exciting. I do have a shout out to do this week. I'm very happy about that. The crew from Knit and Brew in Leavenworth, Washington posted on the Ravelry thread and introduced themselves and said that they have an open knit night thing every Friday at 3 at, I think, Brewicycle. I will double check before I post it on the show notes, but if you are in the Leavenworth, Washington area, go check them out, make some friends. Sounds like a good time. Do you want a shout out? You should want a shout out. So if you join the Backstage Knitting Ravelry group on Ravelry, and there is a getting to know you thread posted in our discussion stuff, go ahead and give yourself an introduction. What's your name? Where are you from? What do you like to work on or not like work on? Do you do theater? Do you like other sorts of geeky activities? You know, what's going on with you? I like to know all of those things. If you are interested in following us or me on social media, you can find Backstage Knitting Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as Backstage Knitting Podcast. Show notes will be posted at backstageknitting.com, where I will link to all of the fantastic things and mediocre things that I talk about on the show. You can email me with questions, comments, concerns, feedback, whatever, at backstageknitting@gmail.com. And of course, please join our Ravelry group. You can subscribe to the audio version of the podcast on Apple Podcasts, or you can subscribe to the video version on YouTube. And I like to have people where they fit. So thank you for being so patient with me. I know it's been a really long time since I sat down to chat with you. The transition from summer back into school and finishing up my summer internship and those classes and starting up with preschool and doing a work transition, it was a lot, and I couldn't make it here, but here I am. I am thrilled to be spending some time with you. So let's jump in with what I've got on the needles. I have been giving a lot of energy and focus in working on the Nakia Infinity scarf shawl wrap thing that was worn in the movie Black Panther, which I'm obsessed with. I ordered the kit from Jimmy Beans, and it has some Noro silk and Malabrigo and Madeline Tosh, the plaid blanket, in a different color. Not all of the colors that were originally listed in the pattern and the original thing were still available, I don't think, but I think Jimmy Beans did a pretty darn good job at picking the next best option. So I ordered the regular plaid blanket kit. They also have a bunch of other options and colors that sort of Disney bound almost, the colors for like other characters. There's a black one for like a Black Panther, and I think they had like a red one to be like Shuri or whatever, and so that is pretty cool. I'm really excited about it. The pattern is free on Ravelry. It has been a medium sort of knit because what they did was they took the machine knit version of the pattern that was used to make the garment that was worn in the movie, and then they, the guy who designed it and another Ravelry user like collaborated to translate it from machine knit to hand knit, and I think it's a medium job. Some of the things aren't quite as clear as I would like them to be, or it's just a little clunkier, I guess, is how I kind of feel about it. Some things aren't maybe brought to the forefront. That this is something we need to watch out for. Some of the directions aren't as clear about how to best pull off what needs to be pulled off. So that is that, and that has been, again, taking up a lot of my time. I have a lot of things on the needles in my head that I have been working on in my head. So, you know, that is what that is there. I did manage to do a couple rows of my Port Gamble socks by Fairlight Fibers in the Mondim color number 201, and that's that 100% non-superwash Portuguese wool. I've turned the heel and I'm working on the body of the foot. I think I'm within an inch or so of starting the toe decreases. I am very much so over the double pointed needles. When I cast it on, I was feeling very like sentimental, I guess, for some old school knitting, and I'm over it. I'm over my sentimentality for those double pointed needles, so I just need to sit down and move it to a big circular and do the rest of the magic loop, because that's what's gonna get it done. Yeah, and then oh dear. Oh, yep, okay, great. I also cast on a sockhead cowl. Thank you, Gigi, for inspiring that. Gigi of the Knit More Girls, she just finished a sockhead cowl herself. And I cast this on with yarn I was sent to review from Mountain Colors Incorporated. And this is the Lady Slipper colorway. It is a lot of like light lavendery purples with some brighter like melony kind of pinks, melon-ish pinks, and then a little bit of gray striped in there as well. And when I last weighed it, I was about 20 or so grams away from starting the ribbing at the other end. So I'm working my way through it. It's been good. Just pick up and go knitting. And it's great because I don't really have to pay any attention. I don't have to do any decreases or worry that it's gonna be too floppy on my head. I just have to check it and weigh it occasionally. So that's good. And I'm just using a regular kitchen scale that I ordered from Amazon a while ago for the sake of measuring yarn or weighing yarn and doing all of that. That has been, have I worked on anything else? It's been a really long time since I talked to you guys. So in theory, I should have worked on other things, but I don't think I did. So that just goes to tell you what my schedule has been like as of late. But I did finish something. I finished my Sockhead Slouch Hat by Kelly McClure in the Knitted Wit Victory Sock Base in the Badger Buddy colorway. So that is yellow and black in the Hufflepuff way, because Team Hufflepuff, here we go. And I wore that with my sisters at Rose City Comic Con a couple weeks ago. That they had their different hats on, and we all were Hogwartsy and things like that. I think that's the only thing I've finished, but I have very lofty ambitions. I will be finishing more things. I will be knitting more things. It'll be amazing. Amazing. What else? So I did some frogging. Now, five or six, maybe 6 years ago, I cast on a giant TARDIS blanket for Nick for Christmas. This blanket was like 6 feet by 9 feet or something obscene like that, and I spent probably 2 or 3 weeks doing nothing but knitting that for 8 hours a day. It was pretty intense. And then, I got busy, I got distracted, I put it away, and then we moved in together. And you just can't work on giant blankets in secret when you live in a 2-bedroom apartment with someone. Well, Nick was in London last week, so I had plenty of time to pull it out, realize I could knit a much better version now, and started to frog it. So I frogged about half of it. It's in Tarja-ish. I will link to it in the show notes. But I am thinking about double knitting it. People take a look. Tell me what you think. Like, is double knitting this absolutely insane? Probably. But I don't know. I think it might cut down on some of the messiness with the ends and the carrying yarn, but maybe it'll make it a whole lot worse. I'm not really sure. Everybody should tell me what you think, because I don't know. But it's huge, and I am excited to finish frogging it. It may not be finished being frogged until Nick goes out of town again, and I don't really know when that's gonna be. So we'll see, but that is something that kind of has been in timeout / my UFO bin for years, and I finally was able to pull it out and make the decision that yes, I'm gonna frog it because I could do a lot better now, and maybe rejig it so it's not quite as hard, or maybe harder. I don't know. Let's see, spinning and weaving. So I have been doing some spinning that I'm very excited about. I spent close to a year or so saving up my money, and in July I was finally able to order a shacked matchless that I ordered from Paradise Fibers in Spokane. And about 6 weeks later it showed up. Long story, kind of frustrated, but it made it to me, so I'm very happy about that. It's so pretty, guys. It's so pretty, and it's a double treadle, so I treadle with both feet. It's great. Unfortunately, along with my knitting time, I have not had as much spinning time as I would like, which bums me out. But thus far, it is giving me, even though it's still breaking in and guzzling oil, and my drive band is still figuring its life out and all that, it is just lovely to spin with, and I feel like the quality of the yarn I am spinning is just going to improve and get way better from here on out, and it's making me super happy. And I'm still sort of working with that Kramer roving that I used during Tour de Fleece. Tour de Fleece is what it's called, that I used during Tour de Fleece, and that's been really, really great. I also found some other, I think it's merino, it's really soft and pretty, that I had just bought like a 1 ounce little bump of, basically right when I learned to spin, that's bright pink, it matches my hair. So I sort of started working that in, and it's a lot of fun. Maybe I will go home and spin tonight, but maybe not. There's a lot going on. Yeah, so that has been fun. I am absolutely in love with my wheel. And yeah, I want to knit and spin all the time. All the time. The rest of the world is a big bummer because it won't let me knit and spin all the time. But let's see, cruising right along here, what have I been watching? So while Nick was gone, I watched The American President. That was the movie that I decided to frog the TARDIS blanket to, and I love that movie. if only Aaron Sorkin was in charge of writing the world, it would be so much better. So much better. So I watched The American President, and that was absolutely delightful. While I was frogging that, while my sisters and I were at Rose City Comic Con, we got a hotel down in Vancouver, Washington, which was only about a 25-minute drive from the Oregon Convention Center. We watched both Infinity War and Black Panther, but like after, you know, to kind of fill that void between convention time and bedtime. So we watched those, and that was pretty great. I have been watching some Gilmore Girls that, you know, is always good, comfort, background food, and the same with Parks and Rec. Watch Doctor Who. I am all caught up on the Peter Capaldi, Pearl Mackie stuff. So I'm all set for the new Doctor, and for that to start, I think sometime in October 7th, I think is when the new season starts. So I'm very excited about that. I've also gone back and I watched through all of Rose, and I'm making my way through Martha again. So I'm on David Tennant Martha. I just watched the episode with the Daleks in the Empire State Building. And again, if you haven't seen any of it, most of it is available to stream on Amazon Prime. And that's where I have been doing that. What else? I had a Daria marathon with my younger sister Erin this weekend, which was amazing. I love Daria. That is streaming on Hulu right now, but I also have the complete series on DVD, because when we decided this was something we wanted to do, it wasn't on Hulu yet that I am aware of. And so that is just absolutely fantastic. It is just as relevant. Sometimes you watch things and you go, man, that's really dated and that's not a real thing anymore. But for the most part, 20 years later, Daria is still just as relevant as it was when it was airing in the late 90s. So I guess that goes to tell you how much we still need to do for a lot of things. And then I have also been watching Star Trek: The Next Generation. Going to Comic-Con always makes me want to come home and read comic books and watch Star Trek. And again, Star Trek is, especially Next Generation, is one of those ones that my dad had on a lot while I was growing up, but not something that I really sat down and watched in chronological order. Like, I recognized all the characters and sort of had some sort of idea as to what was going on, but it wasn't something that I was into. So now I am watching it all for myself and in my own order. And I gotta tell you, I'm not a big fan of the doctor who replaces Beverly Crusher during season 2. Not a big fan. I do not like her. I think them firing Gates McFadden was stupid, and I'm glad to know that she comes back. So that's my thought on that. Yeah, I think those are the big things that I've been watching. I've had other little things on in the background. Ooh, last night Nick and I started watching Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, because he saw Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, parts 1 and 2, while he was in London last week. So we were feeling, you know, Harry Potter-y. So we watched part of that, but then it was time for bed. So we will finish that tonight. What else? Okay, I think that's it for Netflix and Knit. I'm zipping right along. I'm sorry. If I really need to slow down, you guys need to tell me, because I'm just zooming here. Okay, let's see. Craftivism. What has been going on craftivism-wise? Well, I am starting a knitting club with the Oasis Youth Center in Tacoma, and that is a youth center helping LGBTQ youth with leadership skills and other resources in building community. And it's where I did my internship this summer, and it is an absolutely fantastic organization. So Knitwits, which is that with a knitting club, starts tomorrow, and I'm really, really excited. Like, I've missed them, and I think it'll be a great way to connect and share some of my gifts and passions with the youth, and hopefully they will feel as connected and as passionate about it as I do. But if you are interested in donating yarn and like circular or double pointed needles in the 7, 8, 9 range, because those tend to make pretty good hats, let me know and we can get that all figured out for you. I know they would really appreciate it. I am also hosting a craftivist afternoon on Sunday, October 7th, so that's in about a week and a half, from 2 to 4 at Downtown Brew at 115 West Meeker in Puyallup. And I'm going to be focusing on making knitted knockers, but if you have another charity project that you're working on, maybe refugee blankets or chemo caps or something else, feel free to bring that along, and let's just, spend a day knitting for somebody other than ourselves or our immediate family and make the world a little better place. Spread that good juju and all that. So I think that is kind of my big craftivism push for the moment. Again, I'm really excited to start Knitwits tomorrow, and yeah, hopefully all of you are finding some way to use your craft and your talent to help make the community around you a little better, a little warmer, a little brighter. That's all we can really do. Okay, let's see. Book club. So right now in school, I am taking, I think it's called Power, Privilege, and Helpfulness, something like that. It's a selected topics in human resources or human services course. And the book we're reading is called Explorations in Diversity. I will link to it in the show notes. And while there is elements where it's definitely geared toward those who are going into social work and social services, helping professions like that, I think it's really helpful for anybody, not necessarily going into those, if you are looking for a nice guide at the best way to re-examine and look at the different sources of privilege and oppression, and white privilege and male privilege and Christian privilege, and all of these different boxes where we don't necessarily try to benefit from it, that just because of the skin you were born with, you either get privileges just cause, or you get oppression and discrimination just cause. You don't have to be a great person, you don't have to be an awful person. And I'm really enjoying reading about ways to re-examine that and how white people can better themselves in their community and acknowledge their privilege and use it for good instead of just hiding behind it or feeling guilty, because white guilt isn't doing anybody any good, so we may as well use it for good. And I think it's a really great book at talking you through that, and they have different professors in helping services kind of go through their stories about either dealing with their privilege or different types of oppression and growing up and working through that, and how they're doing other things to be better. So I'm really enjoying reading that, even though it's, an assignment. So that's always a thing there. I have also been reading The Gender Creative Child. And while this is a little, it's still information and psychological, it is a great resource for parents and teachers, as well as counselors and stuff, as far as gender fluidity in your young children and some of the science behind it, as well as other philosophies, and just being better and more open-minded, and that we're not living in a strictly binary society anymore, and all of that. So I'm only a couple chapters into that, but I will keep you posted because I think it's very interesting. Healing hands. Yes, I'm bringing healing hands back as it is appropriate and relevant to the things in my life. I took an Ashiatsu class at the end of August that was amazing. Amazing. So Ashiatsu is the process is massaging people with your feet. It's so cool. I love it. You like stand on the table and you hold on to these bars and yeah, you do all these different moves and you massage people with your feet. It's really cool. I am so excited to get bars up and to get practicing and to get certified. In fact, I was so excited and inspired by this class that I have started renting my own massage space. So I am delving into my own realm of small business ownership and my own practice, and I'm looking forward to really growing that, and hopefully the Ashiatsu will be a big part of that. And yeah, in fact, my massage room is where I'm recording today. So new space, new background. It's very exciting for me. Yeah, so that's it in healing hands for me. I love learning new things about my trade and my profession, and it always inspires me to come back and do more and learn more and be a better massage therapist or be a better knitter. It's great to learn new stuff and really do that. Yarny Adventures. Okay, so at the beginning of September, I did a presentation on the history of knitting during wartime for the Seattle Knitters Guild. I think it went really well. I got good feedback. There's a ton more research and information I would like to add and adjust. I walked away feeling good, but with lots of other ideas and things that I want to implement and try for next time. Because, you know, like you always want to make it better, and there are things that I wanted to do initially but ran out of time, and I'm hoping that upon my graduation in December that it will give me the time to put together a really clean presentation that I can go teach at other like yarn stores or for other guilds, and really do that, because I love the social history of knitting. I love the feminist and economical issues within knitting and how it's used to keep women in our place, but also as a way of providing independence and autonomy for the family. And it's really, really interesting. So I want to put together a whole thing and take my show on the road, you know? So I thought that was really, really great. Another yarny adventure I had was Rose City Comic-Con. That was super, I really like Rose City Comic-Con. Rose City Comic-Con takes place in Portland, Oregon, usually in September. This was my second year going. This year I did Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The year before I just went down for Sunday. And it was really, really nice. The event was very maker and children friendly. And like Emerald City does, they have their artist alley, and then they have their exhibition and their show floor where you can, go by and buy old comic books and buy Pop Funkos and see other people's, people selling stuff, which is great. The comic book companies have their big things and stuff like that. And then, Artist Alley is where all those artists are up there, selling their prints and all of those things. But at Rose City this year, they had their Artist Alley and their exhibition show floor, but then they also had like a maker's market and a kids place. And the kids place had a whole bunch of very interactive child-friendly booths where they're making science and making other craft nerdy projects. And there was a stage with all sorts of different games every hour on the hour that we went and played Star Wars bingo, and they had other characters that you could meet for free, like Wonder Woman or the Incredibles or Poppy and Branch. It was really child friendly. But the Makers Market was, I think, my favorite thing to look through, because there was the fun, like, nerdy pottery, or the people who crochet blankets and hats that look like Pokeballs or whatever. There was a gal who was making these really, really big bags that I bought too. One was in a Thor fabric, one was in a Wonder Woman fabric, and I'll try to remember to link to it in the show notes. But I mean, they're good size. I get a couple project bags in there, and my iPad and my calendar, and really keep a lot of stuff in those big bags. I love those. So that was awesome. And then I just got to sit there and, you know, knit during panels, and I finished that Doctor Who scarf, which may not have made it. I finished my bigger on the inside shawl. Maybe I did mention it. I don't remember, but I finished it. Finished the bigger on the inside shawl. I blocked it. I wove in the ends. I wore it on this Saturday when we got our picture taken with Catherine Tate, who is one of the companions on Doctor Who. And I got a lot of compliments on it. Like, a lot of people recognized it and asked me if I made it, and it was very craft friendly, so I appreciated that. And then I went and saw Waitress. That came to town. We have season tickets for the Broadway on tour stuff. We went and saw Waitress, and we took my sister Erin with us. Nick and I did. So I was knitting during the show, and then Erin was knitting during the show. And then at intermission, we look up at the seats behind us, and there was another person knitting. And I didn't say anything to them, but I was really excited, because I often feel like I'm the only one who is knitting in the middle of this giant theater. So to have 3 knitters sitting together in such close proximity made me really happy. Let's see, did I go on any other yarny adventures? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay. Events. We have some events coming up. Yay! So this coming weekend is the Pacific Northwest Yarn Crawl. It's their fall crawl, September 28th through the 30th, 2018. I will be going with my mom and my sisters on Sunday the 30th. We will start at, where will we start at? We will start at Fairwood Fibers. No. The Alpaca Farm, whose name I'm completely blanking. I apologize. Furwood Farms Alpacas. Yes, in Fife. And then we will end at the UNI in Chehalis. So we'll make our loop there. I'm really excited. I have a couple things mentally on my list that I want to get, so I need to write the list down so I don't forget. And it'll be a good time. And if you see me or my mom or my sisters, don't be afraid to say hi, and I might have a little goodie for you, and I'm looking forward to it. And then again, I'm doing a craftivist afternoon on Sunday, October 7th from 2 to 4 p.m. at Downtown Brew at 115 West Meeker in Puyallup. Yeah, whatever charity project you're working on, if you want to make a hat for homeless or whatever, bring it on down and let's hang out and knit or crochet, whatever. Make the world a better place is really the goal there. Then jumping into 2019, because 2018 is very slowly clicking down. There is Madrona President's Day weekend 2019 in Tacoma, Washington, and I will be there on the Saturday with my knitting group. We'll probably park at one of those tables right outside those main doors and be in and out of the shopping, but come say hi. Always say hi to us. And then Stitches West in Santa Clara, California, which is the weekend after Madrona. Boom, boom, boom. I will be there as well. I'm really looking forward to getting to see all the people I see at Stitches and make new friends. It's really great that way. So hopefully I will see as many of you as possible at some of those events. If not, hopefully I will see you online. And again, you can find me as Backstage Knitting Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'll put the show notes up at backstageknitting.com. You can email me at backstageknitting@gmail.com. And of course, please, please, please join our Ravelry group. Come participate in the conversation. I love seeing what you guys write and what you say and all of that. It's a lot of fun for me getting to know all of you. Oh crap, I just dropped a stitch. Again, you can subscribe to the audio version at Apple Podcasts or wherever else you find your podcasts. And you can subscribe to the video content on YouTube. And yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, well, I hope you all have a lovely, lovely weekend. Hopefully I will see some of you at the Yarn Crawl week. It's only Monday. Oh my, it's only Monday. Okay, well, either way, have a great week. I'll see you around, hopefully online or at the Yarn Crawl. And yeah, thanks so much for giving me a try. Okay, bye-bye.